When we talk about love, most of us immediately think of intense emotions, jealousy, or even possession. Many believe that the more jealous we are, the stronger the love must be. But in reality, that's not necessarily love. True love is not a competition, not a battle to prove who matters more, and not a struggle to hold someone tightly. Love, in its purest form, flows from the heart. It is gentle, pure, and rooted in sharing. What often makes us suffer in relationships is not the lack of love, but the intrusion of greed and ego. These are the walls that suffocate love, the shadows that block it from blooming. When ego grows too large, love cannot breathe. When greed takes over, there is no space left for love to exist. Ego and greed both stem from selfishness, the endless desire to take, to be filled, to be satisfied. But the essence of love is the opposite. To love is to give, to share, to radiate. When someone truly loves, they wish to offer the best of themselves, not to prove anything, but simply because their heart compels them to. If a person's heart is dominated by selfishness, greed, and ego, love cannot survive. They may crave affection, they may want to be in a relationship, but they are no longer living with their heart. Instead, they love with calculation, with physical desire, or with the vanity of ego. And that is when love becomes distorted. Sometimes, we enter a relationship under the name of love, but in truth, it may not come from the heart at all. Imagine this. A young man sends a message to a charming, intelligent woman. Inside him, several voices arise at once. The ego whispers, "If I win her love, everyone will admire me. I'll feel proud." The body murmurs, "I just want to be close to her physically." The heart remains silent, asleep. The intellect steps in. "You're all shallow. I know the world. I know how to use beautiful words to get what I want without getting hurt." Finally, with the alliance of ego, body, and intellect, the man sends the message, "I love you deeply." But where is true love in those words? Perhaps it is only the desire to satisfy himself, not the genuine stirrings of the heart. That is why so many people use the name of love to cover up greed, selfishness, and personal ambition. They call it love, but in reality, it is possession. And when their desires are not met, they end up hurt, bitter, and disappointed. Have you noticed? The more selfish and greedy someone is, the less likely they are to find happiness. Because for them, nothing is ever enough. They demand more, expect more, and instead of peace, they live with stress, suspicion, and endless dissatisfaction. Many relationships work this way. On the surface, they are filled with sweet words, "I love you. You mean the world to me," yet deep down, neither person truly understands love. And so, quarrels, blame, and wounds come easily. Sometimes, even in business, people can be more honest than in love. At least in business, both sides are clear about what they want and need. In love, however, too often it becomes a sweet mask covering selfish ambitions. You see, true love is not possession, not vanity, not a tool to prove your worth. True love is the ability to live with the heart, to give, to share, and to honor the one you love. So let me ask you, in your own relationships, how much space is taken up by ego and greed? And how much room have you given to the voice of your true heart? You know, attraction based on instinct is actually the lowest level of what we often mistakenly call love. It's like a sexual intoxication, a form of sexual attraction that is very natural to humans. And like strong liquor, when the intoxication passes, people suddenly wake up and realize they chose poorly. The sad thing is, that short-lived kind of love is extremely common in society. It leads many people to enter relationships and then leave bewildered, asking themselves, "Why did I love so intensely?" Yet just a few months later there's no feeling left at all? On the second level, a little higher, there is conditional emotion. This is the kind of love built on exchange. People love, but at the same time they keep a ledger in their hearts, carefully noting what they have given and waiting for return. The relationship becomes like an unspoken contract. I will love you if you make me feel respected, safe, and provided for. The story of the poor young man and the girl is a very down-to-earth example. He supports her month after month, seeing that as proof of his love. But once she gets caught up in celebrating a friend's birthday and forgets to text him, he feels abandoned, as if he has vanished from her world. That feeling hurts him, and they fall into a cold war. Here we clearly see that conditional love can ignite easily, because each side invests a lot, but it is also fragile. Because everything depends on whether those conditions are met. A single small lapse is enough to shake the whole relationship. Then, on the third level, affection takes on a different hue, noble emotion. There, people begin to know sacrifice, to long to give, to place the other's happiness ahead of their own pleasure. It sounds like unconditional love, but in truth ego and greed still creep in. People still secretly wait for one day to be reciprocated, to have their sacrifices recognized. And when that reciprocation does not come, they feel sad and disappointed. One of the most typical examples is maternal love. A mother spends her life caring for her children, sacrificing sleep, meals, and opportunities for herself. She does not sit and calculate how much she has given, nor does she force her children to repay her immediately. But deep inside, every mother quietly hopes for a simple thing, that when she grows old, her children will be dutiful, will care for and look after her. If that does not happen, she will suffer. Yet what is admirable is that, even when children are ungrateful, a mother's love continues to flow, still forgiving and self-sacrificing. That is a nobility that few other forms of love can match. So where does your love stand? If it is rooted in the heart, you will find yourself yearning to give. But if love remains tied to instinct, to greed, to ego, then you will forever be in a tug of war, each person trying to pull the rope toward themselves. The obvious outcome: both end up suffering. But you know, selfishness is not the only barrier on the path to true love. There is another, far more subtle obstacle: the mind. Our brain has a habit. It stores and magnifies the most beautiful moments in love. The early days of a relationship, the looks exchange, the times holding hands, the sleepless nights spent texting until dawn. All of these are etched deeply into the mind. And we expect love to always be like that, growing ever more intense, passionate, and unchanging over time. But reality is very different. No year can contain 365 days of perfect sunshine. Love, like the weather, must have sunny days and rainy days, brightness followed by clouds. If you expect it to always be beautiful, always as it was at the beginning, that expectation becomes a trap. When love no longer glitters as in a dream, you will be disappointed, then despairing. Society, the media, and films only enlarge that illusion. People are lulled by stories of the destined half, that somewhere out there someone was born just for you, and that finding the right person means a lifetime without arguments, without conflict, only perfect harmony. But the truth is there is no perfect match. And when the fantasy collapses, many people fall into suffering, thinking that love has betrayed them. In fact, you were born already whole as a full moon. No one else can fill you except yourself. When you find fullness within, you are then capable of loving another with a love without lack. Conversely, if you enter a relationship with a warped, wanting soul, you will only sow demands, control, and ultimately suffering. Love is not about finding the missing half. Love is when two people who are already whole meet and become a blessing to each other. Imagine a young woman in her 20s, pure and full of dreams, on a journey to find her destined other half. In her mind, love is a modern fairy tale. One day, a prince on a white horse will appear, love her wholeheartedly, protect her, care for her every little need, and accompany her through life without ever making her sad. She is certain that such a man must exist, because she feels she deserves to be loved in that perfect way. Then fate, as if teasing her, brings her to a man. He possesses all the qualities she longed for: gallant, caring, gentle, and successful. In her eyes, this is the chosen one. They fall in love, then marry. But something unexpected happens. After only a short while, the marriage cracks, conflicts multiply, and understanding fades. The final outcome: divorce. Does that story sound familiar? In fact, it's far from rare, because when people believe too strongly in the destined other half, when they rely too heavily on a dream of perfection, they forget one crucial truth. Love is not someone's arrival to rescue us, but the growth within ourselves. Without that inner growth, no matter who you meet, you will ultimately fall into the spiral of disappointment. Another reason why love so easily breaks is because people often depend too much on reason. Reason always wants to explain everything. I feel moved because she's beautiful. I love him because he's successful. I chose this person because he's caring. Reason wants to prove that we are smart, that our feelings are well thought out. But love cannot be validated by reason. It is not a math problem to be solved. It is not a report listing enough reasons to justify love. Reason only produces reactions, and reactions are ever-changing. They are like ocean waves, sometimes rising high, sometimes lying still, depending on the wind and the weather. True love, however, belongs to the heart. It is quiet, yet steady and unchanging. It doesn't need reasons. It doesn't need justifications. It doesn't need logic. It only needs to be lived and felt. To love, you must let your heart speak. Another barrier that often prevents people from opening their hearts is the fear of being truly seen. Each of us has hidden corners, secrets, dark places we don't want others to touch. And when entering love, many build walls of protection, not allowing the other person to see their true inner self. Because they fear, if he knows everything about me, will he still love me? If she sees all my weaknesses, will she leave me? That fear keeps them at a distance, always guarded, and love never deepens. Yet the truth is simple: for love to last, it needs sincerity. You must dare to let the other step into your inner world. Even the dark corners you've long kept hidden, you must dare to put down the walls, to let them see everything, and love you exactly as you are. Of course, this is not easy. It can leave you vulnerable. Because once the other truly knows you, either you find a soulmate, or you face rejection and abandonment. But remember, that courage and honesty is the very measure of love. Better to live authentically and know whether love exists, than to live forever behind a safe but lifeless mask. Men and women, in love, are often different too. Men tend to look toward the grand ideals, ambitions, conquest, exploration. They think about distant horizons, great dreams, and sometimes forget the small things close by. Women, meanwhile, care more about the near and present, whether parents are healthy, whether the children are fed and clothed, whether the partner is happy or sad today, whether the home feels warm and cozy. That focus on the present sometimes makes men think women are shallow. On the other hand, women often criticize men for being unrealistic dreamers. But the truth is, both are mistaken, because love is not about who is right or wrong, who looks far or who looks near, but about whether both can learn to step into each other's world. When a man is willing to pause and listen to the small details, and when a woman is willing to lift her gaze toward greater aspirations, that is when they truly meet on common ground, and that is mature love. Once, in a sentence building contest, participants were given 7 words: women, men, not, is, the, all, anything. The men arranged them into without men, women cannot be anything. The women, however, chose without women, men cannot be anything. Meanwhile, the judges had intended the sentence to be with both women and men. Nothing is impossible, just a simple game, yet it reflected the way people often perceive one another. Men and women are inherently different, but instead of seeing these differences as complementary, We tend to use them to assert our own importance, while dismissing the voice of the other. These differences begin in childhood. Boys are often fascinated with superheroes, tanks, police cars, airplanes, or towering buildings. Girls, on the other hand, delight in dolls, stuffed animals, cooking sets, or games about doctors and teachers. Girls are naturally drawn to play that involves nurturing and caring. Love and care seem to be imprinted in the female heart from birth. With boys, however, you rarely find any instinct for nurturing in their toys. No animals to be raised. No games that speak of fatherhood. Thus, being a father is a responsibility society and life entrusts to them. While being a mother is an innate calling, men tend to look farther, captivated by horizons yet to be explored, from dreams of changing the world to the mysteries of the cosmos. Women, meanwhile, pay attention to what is near and concrete, whether parents are healthy, whether children are well fed, whether their partner is happy or sad today, whether the pet has been fed. They live in the present, tending to details that bring balance to a life easily swept away by men's distant ambitions. Ideally, the two genders should be like complementary pieces of a puzzle, supporting and completing each other to form a harmonious whole. But reality is different. The ego intrudes, turning balance into distance. People refuse to acknowledge each other's perspective. Instead, they deny and belittle the other. They don't share benefits equally but let selfishness dominate, wanting the larger share for themselves. If they yield, it's with condescension, not genuine sharing. And so, conflict piles upon conflict, not only within families but across all relationships, friends, colleagues, partners. When self-interest becomes the center, differences cease to be opportunities for harmony and instead become chasms of separation. Two people, even while living together, remain like two distant souls. Ego, reason, and greed overshadow the heart, and this is why war, deceit, and exploitation have never ceased through thousands of years. To break this cycle, we must return to the heart. Meditation is the path that quiets ego, desire, and the constant noise of the mind. Only when the stream of thoughts subsides can you hear once more the echo of your own heart. For years, the heart has been abandoned in a dark corner, weak and silent. Come closer to it, bring it light, listen to it. When the heart is healed, you too are healed. Then you will feel as though life has opened a new door, filled with light, love, and freedom. Love, in its purest essence, is a sacred song that no earthly music can match. It does not belong to selfishness, for selfishness always turns inward, while love always flows outward. Love does not bind, does not possess, does not coerce, it does not demand proof, nor force obedience. Love simply flows, like a gentle stream that heals everything it touches. In contrast, everything that arises from selfishness, from ego, from the desire to possess, carries within it the seed of suffering. For that energy seeks only to grasp, and when its flow is blocked or unfulfilled, one feels deprived, dissatisfied, and in pain. These wounds are not caused by love itself, but by those who exploit the name of love to serve their own interests. True love is different. It does not hurt you, it sets you free. It fills you with abundance, with freedom. Those who live in selfishness always feel lacking. Those who live by the heart always feel whole, even when they hold little in their hands. Meditation is not just about sitting still with closed eyes, but about the art of returning inward. When you meditate, the mind gradually quiets. The waves of anger, anxiety, ego, and greed slowly dissolve, and in that silence, you begin to discover your ability to step into another person's shoes, to see the world through their eyes, to listen with their heart. You begin to truly listen, not only to words, but to pain, to hidden desires, to the things that were never spoken. The one who knows how to love is, first of all, the one who knows how to be still. Without stillness, love is nothing more than haste, a fleeting reaction. But when the heart abides in peace, Love spreads gently like the fragrance of flowers in the wind, requiring no effort. Seeking no possession, it simply arises. At that moment, all the barriers once disguised as love, control, jealousy, fear of loss, the desire to own, wither away. For they no longer have the energy to exist. Your heart feels infused with a new life force, radiant and awakened, and in that awakening, true love begins to blossom. This is unconditional love, the highest state ever spoken of by enlightened beings. Unlike the previous three states, instinctual love, conditional love, or the mixture of selfishness and nobility, unconditional love does not change with time. It does not fade when youth passes. It is not destroyed by trials. It does not need proof or exchange. It exists like the sky, vast, eternal. Jesus called it love. The Buddha called it compassion. Two paths, two languages, but the same essence. A heart expanded beyond all boundaries. At this state, you no longer love just one person. No longer confine love within the frame of a personal relationship. Love becomes an infinite ocean, flowing toward all humanity, nature, the universe. Your soul then is like a waterfall, endlessly cascading in the spiritual world, powerful, washing away all sorrow. At the same time, it is like a gentle brook, flowing softly within you, refreshing, nourishing every cell. This is the purest beauty a human being can ever touch. Compared to it, all worldly pleasures grow dim. In unconditional love, suffering no longer exists for you. Not because life is free of suffering, but because your heart has merged with the universe, becoming one with the flow of life itself. You no longer crave or expect anything from the outside. You live in harmony with nature, and in that harmony, absolute freedom is born. But to reach this love, you must go deep into meditation. And this is a solitary journey. Even if someone sits beside you, when you step into the depth of your inner world, you are still alone. No one can take your place. No one can walk for you. The Buddha, Jesus, the great masters, they can only show the way. The path is always there. But every step must be taken by you alone. We arrive in this world alone, in that perfect moment of birth. And we are, in truth, already whole, not needing anyone else to complete us. Meditation helps you realize this. When you discover wholeness within yourself, you no longer love out of lack, but love out of abundance. And that love, that is unconditional love.